Hello everyone, my name is Lisa Watts and this video is being recorded as part of the Integrated Principal Preparation Program, IOP3, at Region 1 in Edinburg, Texas, in order to explain differentiating instruction. As an educator, there are several questions that we must ask ourselves. These questions will help us to prepare to become better leaders, as well as help our teachers to understand what differentiating in the classroom is all about. The first question we must ask ourselves as a principal is, why should educators differentiate instruction? The answer, because every student is different. Just as their learning styles are different, if we wish to meet the individual needs of each student, we must constantly assess the response and needs of the students. When students are more responsive, they become more eager and engaged. Differentiated instruction allows them to take ownership of their education, which in turn leads to greater student success. The second question, we must ask ourselves, why should DI be used in a classroom setting? The answer to this is because much research has shown that students learn better when supported through their individual interests. It allows the teacher to cater to the individual learning styles of each student. Another reason why we should use DI in the classroom setting is because students differ on their performance as well as engagement and interests. A various array of materials and time periods must be considered when using this process. We must also not forget those students that require accommodations, disabilities, and those that are English language learners, or ELLs. Learners who are lost or frustrated become bored and often tend to act out. Through differentiating instruction, teachers can experience better classroom management and discipline when in turn cuts down further interruptions and distractions to their teaching. Question 3. How should we differentiate instruction? A book I recently read, Making Differentiation a Habit by Dr. Diane Hecox, states that there are 9 phases in using a DI learning plan. The first is standards or kudos, what they should know, understand, and be able to do. This requires teachers to list their state's academic standards being covered. The second is pre-assessment and formative assessment notes. This step requires that teachers record notes on the assessment data they have collected on each student. Number 3, the hook. The hook identifies ways that the teacher can actively engage their students' interests and curiosities about the topic. Examples of this would be graphics, artwork, timelines, stories, etc. The fourth phase would be content delivery. This phase identifies the content, skill, or processes to be addressed. It describes what the students will learn. It also includes differentiation of resources and learning goals. Number 5 is instruction and modeling. This phase addresses how the students will learn and how they will be actively engaged. In this phase, the information is presented, skills and processes are introduced, and modeling is provided for students. The content, skills, and processes are presented in various ways to reflect the multiple intelligences of the students. Number 6, the application activities, where the teachers will address how their students will learn the concepts, skills, or processes presented in a lesson. Number 7 would be the independent application, ways in which the students demonstrate their learning. These would be as assignments or activities which can be completed in class or as homework. Number 8 would be closure, to reinforce what students have learned. For those students who need more support, this is a critical phase in the learning plan. The last phase is the what's next phase. This is a time to reflect. When teachers reflect on the activities and process with their entire class, it allows students to delve deeper into their understanding, analyzation, and interpretations of the information and standards being learned. By sharing their thoughts, it actively encourages further communication and participation in class. This important step is often overlooked, but it is a necessary step in the learning process. Examples of DI include content, which is what the students learn, where the content can be based on interest. Process, by groupings and readiness or various learning styles or tasks. And the third would be product, offering different types of assessments, allow students to be creative or come up with their own ideas to demonstrate what they have learned. As instructional leaders, we must assure that our teachers are familiar with these DI procedures. What should the differentiated classroom look like? Here are a few things that we should look for. Choice in student assignments. These should be reflected in the teacher's lesson plans. More than one resource of text for students to read. Personalized learning, which looks like students having their needs met. Check to see if students are being assessed in various ways and if there is teaching to multiple intelligences. Suggestions to teachers that we can suggest to them. Rotating lessons, learning stations, interviewing of students to identify preferences. Tackle all of the following senses to make sure that the class is more engaged. Those senses would include visual, tactical, auditory, and kinesthetic. Share your own strengths and weaknesses. Use think, pair, share strategies where students think about a topic, students are paired together, and all students later share their ideas with the entire class. Other things to suggest would be reflective and creative journaling, literature circles, heterogeneous groupings, Teach Up for higher expectations, technology, which is an excellent tool for DI, educational skill games, frequent reflection, assigned open-end projects, and include a rubric to define expectations. All of these are excellent tools to use to integrate DI into the classroom. When DI is planned accordingly, it enables understanding to be deepened and greater student success. Thank you.